Hey everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Block, the tutorial-based Let's Play series where I show you all the fundamentals of Minecraft while also expanding our ever-evolving world. Appreciate you guys stopping back by today. You'll see that we are running full speed on the chicken front here. I have continued to breed these guys constantly, and we have... Oh, Lord, we have a lot of chickens in here. And then I'll make a quick run through here with the eggs. I'll throw them up against there so they'll land inside of the coop area. And yeah, it's working pretty dang well. So I've actually got a lot of chicken inside of the furnaces over here cooking up. I also recently did a full swipe on here. Got a ton of seeds, a lot more wheat. And I made a little bit more bread, but I think we're going to be able to make the switch over to our chicken here pretty soon. Yeah, you see there, I've got 21 now cooked up, and it's doing pretty great. But besides the food, I have another mission in hand today. Today is going to be getting out of the coffin, this box that we've been living in. The chickens are over there living their best life, and I think it's about time we make some renovations. So today's episode is going to be all about expanding and building our very first actual house. So I've planted a bunch of saplings up here in rows, and you'll see that a lot of them have already started to grow, which is fantastic. We're going to need a lot of wood, and we already have a ton of stone from our mining endeavors, so we don't really necessarily have to go for any stone. You'll see here, yeah, this is another reason why I need to get out of this tiny little box. It's served its purpose for now, but good grief, we don't even have a door here, so it is about time for us to do something else other than living in this thing. So I'm going to go over here, I'm going to chop down a ton more trees just to make sure we have plenty of ample wood, and as soon as I get that cleared, I think that I want to build right up here on top of this small little plateau. I think it's a cool little area. It's got some good sight lines over here to the temple, and it's got a little bit of desert views, a little bit of the sandy ridges over here in the distance. So I think this spot right here will work pretty good. There's like a little tiny pond right here underneath the area. I think I'm just going to end up filling this in. I don't see any real reason to keep it. I mean, we could integrate it somehow, but I think it'd be better suited just to go ahead and fill that thing in. I'll clear all this area of all this grass right here. That way we can get a nice, good, flat area to work on. And then I'm going to go ahead and start mocking up what kind of design I want to do. We're not going to go some huge, extravagant castle or keep or anything like that. This is meant to just be our very first actual starter home. We've made plenty of progress while sitting inside of the little box over there. But like I said, it's time to start evolving a little bit. And we deserve this. We definitely deserve this. As I'm cutting these down, I figured I would mention that, yes, you can place oak trees very close together, even though they don't naturally spawn that way. They naturally spawn with some gap in there, just so it looks a little bit more natural, but you can place these very close together in a very tight grid, and they still will spawn. Just make sure that if you have any gaps in between, that you light them up, because it's going to be real dark and mobs can spawn in between. So I just fill it out as a complete, like, full grid. As a matter of fact, some other tree variants that we haven't encountered yet are going to require you to plant them in a 2x2 grid, and that is the only way they grow. Just like the jungle wood is that way, the dark oaks are that way, and then spruce trees, you can plant them in a single sapling, or you can also plant them in a 2x2 sapling grid, and that will yield a huge mega spruce tree, and it will actually convert the soil below it into podzol. Podzol is just a different looking dirt that it actually transforms a large area around the spruce tree whenever you plant it. And it looks a little different, so it has its uses. As a matter of fact, it looks good in barnyards because it kind of looks like like chicken poop or cow poop or something like that. So you can kind of make the aesthetic there. Well, that's a pretty stark difference, but it is a very blank template now. So we've cleared out all the trees. I've got all those taken down. I've got all this area cleared of all the grass. And I went ahead and accumulated a good stockpile of things that we're going to need for this project, at least to start off with. Now, I got the chest in my hand because I always start off my bigger projects, especially early game, before you have more tools at your disposal, with a project chest. So this is just an area where I can just store all of the goods that I know I'm going to be using for the project that I'm currently working on. And you'll see with the trees that we planted, we have a ridiculous amount of wood. So I've got all this stuff put in there. And now as we build and we accumulate different things, because you're going to be using up different stone types and different things over here like stairs and half slabs and such, and you won't use all of them, and you'll want to store them somewhere, so having them somewhere close by at the ready is always really nice. So I'm going to go back over here, I'm going to gather a couple more things, and then I want to show you the palette that we're working with. So these are going to be the vast majority of the blocks that we're going to be using in this build. And like I said, you need to get somewhat of a palette together. What do you want to be in your build? And of course, early game, the developers of Minecraft are very kind to you and realize that this very basic palette of just stone and wood work very well with each other, especially in like a medieval or, kind of older style. So with that in mind, this is what I'm going to be using. And I think it's going to go very well. So you'll see that I have different variants. I've got some half slabs here and some stairs, full blocks. And then these blocks here, I don't think I've introduced quite yet because this is not as easily obtainable. What this is that you need to convert the cobblestone that you're getting into stone. That stone then can be converted into stone bricks. And from there you can take your stone bricks and make a wide variety of different things, just like with the cobblestone and regular stone, such as stairs, half slabs, wall blocks, etc. So it's just going to be a really great addition. These look a little bit more structured, so I like this look a lot. I think these are going to be really good as a foundation block or some pillar blocks in here. So I'm going to go ahead and take this stuff down real quick, and then I'm going to go ahead, like I said, and start outlining a basic design of what I think the outside of the house is going to look like. And then, of course, we can always expand it. This is the part of my series that I want to be the Let's Play part, so to speak. I did not rehearse this build, nothing like this. I'm kind of going into this blind because, like I said before, I want to put myself in your guys' shoes and experience the game alongside you, but just sharing my wealth of knowledge along the way and trying to help each other learn a little bit and to help each other grow. So without me rambling on here any further, let me go ahead, put this stuff up, and let me get my outline drawn. So I think this is going to be the basic design that I'm going to go for. So I went with just more of a rectangular design, and then to just throw a little bit of variation in there, a little bit of character, I went ahead and jotted this out. Now, be cautious. Building on an angle like this is never easy because the options for roofs and windows and such at an angle such as this is really not that easy to come across with. You gotta be a little bit more creative at times. So if you're very new to the game, just go ahead and stick to hard edges. But instead of coming out at an angle here, just go ahead and come out straight. Maybe jot that out a little bit, or jot this one out back here in a little bit. Just give yourself a little bit of extra space to work with, because you could always make that little jot out back here as a little porch area, or possibly just a little additional storage room built into your house. This right here, I think for me, is I want to have this area here as my front door. Come inside, there'll be such as a little living room area or such. Come back here to the kitchen and dining room, and then I think I want to try and integrate a small staircase that leads up to an upper area, a second story of the house, excuse me, that we can have as a bedroom up there. Now, I don't want to have the whole house as 2 stories, but I think possibly over the living area or over the kitchen area, we can go ahead and build it up a little higher, and that'll give us a little bit more character too. Now that we've got an outline, I'm going to go ahead and I think we're going to jump into a quick time lapse, and I'm going to build this up just a little bit. I'm not going to do the entire house quite yet, but the episode would run way too long if we ended up doing block by block here. So let me build up a general idea of what I want the foundation to look like, the entranceway, kind of get some general basics going, and then I'll touch base with you guys and we'll see exactly what I've done. And we'll see what the plans are for finishing this out as well.
Heaven just knows what it wants. Will I go back to the place where I belong? Everyone could break my heart, but I try my best to not fall apart. And I find it hard to let go. The memories keep me together. Gotta fight till the end, no pressure, no pressure. And I find it hard to say no to the ones who want something better, to the ones who never say never. You'll be my pleasure.
So we're about halfway through with just a general base idea of what I want to do here, and I wanted to take just a short intermission, a short break, and kind of clarify a couple things, because I'm sure a lot of you are like, this is hideous. This is the worst colored box thing I've ever seen in my life. And you know what, it is pretty rough right now. But to start off with, I always like to just get the general template down. Just nice filled in walls. You don't need to start worrying about where windows are, where all this stuff is going to go. Just get in there and start building the idea of how the shape of the building is that you want to start building. So I have my lower two blocks here as my foundation blocks. That's kind of where the house is sitting on. This portion over here, that's going to be the stones, and this portion here will be the kitchen area, along with a fire in here. So I wanted to make sure that the walls were fire retardant, so they didn't catch on fire and the whole house go up. So this area here will be a kitchen with a fireplace. I left these blank because I want this to kind of be like a nice open window that we can kind of view out. And then as we progress through here, we can kind of decide where we want some windows, and it won't take very much effort at all. All you got to do, pop a couple of those out, and we're good to go. So let me go over here. I'm going to get a quick nap in real fast, reset the day, get back to work on the second phase of building this house up. And as soon as I'm all done, we're going to get back in here and I'll show you everything we've done, all my methods and all that stuff. So just bear with me here for a little longer, guys.
And I find it hard to let go. Memories keep me together. Gotta fight till the end, no pressure, no pressure. And I find it hard to say no to the ones who want something better, the ones who never say never. Will you be my pleasure?
So I think this is a pretty good spot to kind of step back in, and I think this is where we're going to go ahead and stop the time lapse and actually just go ahead and start building together. I know that a lot of y'all were probably like, wait, I need you to show me everything, but building a Minecraft is going to be very individual. So each person is going to have their own ideas of what's going to look good, what's not going to look good, and you're just going to have to play around with it. So like I said, for this idea, I showed you guys how I laid out my original template of the entire design of how I wanted the house, and that is still current. And then I went ahead, filled in the floors, started to go ahead and build up my walls out here, and I wanted to do some kind of stone foundation to this structure, so I put down all the stone structuring down here at the bottom, and then I wanted to transition to some wood, so we went ahead and transitioned up into a few layers of wood. And then, like I stated before, this area here will be a kitchen area, so I wanted it to be a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more rough around the edges, I guess, so to speak, a little bit more industrialized. So we're going to stick with the stone in here. And then seating area over here, a little bit of a living room. We'll go ahead and make some chairs, maybe a table or two. We'll throw in some bookshelves, some decorations, etc. And I plan on putting in a small staircase right here that will merge up along this wall, go up, and will allow us into a second story. And I plan to make a very small upper room right here, which will be my bedroom, that will sit basically right above the kitchen area. So a couple of the things that I've used in the design so far that you might not be familiar with is I'm making the awning along the outside just like we did the chicken coop with some stairs. And if you want your roof line to go up much slower and much more gradual, then you'll do what I did here. Instead of putting the stair directly attached to the stair before it, you'll go ahead and move it up one block, set it here, and it will slowly increase that. Now to fill in that gap there, I went ahead and laid an entire row of half slabs all the way across the top there to kind of give it that more rounded out look. Now from here, I'm going to go ahead and start putting the stairs right behind that one there. That way the roof line can go ahead and go up more at a more sharp slant at this point, because I don't want it to go so gradual that the roof line only comes to about here. I want it to actually come up, have somewhat of a small peak, and then come back down. Let me go over here and sleep, and then I'll show you a couple more of the design features that I'm thinking about. And ooh, we got to eat as well. And hopefully we can start wrapping this thing up, putting a little bit of a roof on it. Now the nice thing about this too is you'll see that I went ahead and put in a window here. I went ahead and used some stair blocks, and the window will still meet up and butt up right against that texture of the stair there, so you won't have any gaps at all. So it'll look really nice and clean and kind of fleshed out. Give your window a little bit of recess there. And you'll see I've got these kind of like blank spots on each side, and I thought, well, we could go ahead and throw some half slabs in there. And that cleans it up. That looks a little bit better. But if you really want to go for a little bit more design, you can go ahead and put your stair at the opposite angle. So if your stair is facing this away, you'll come at the opposite angle, set it here, and go ahead and cap off that stair as a half stair. Additionally, it will allow us to have a half slab there, the same visual we were going for before. Whoops. And we'll put another stair there, top of the block, there we go. And now what was originally just a nice simple half slab here actually has just a tiny bit more texture, a little bit more character than it did before, and makes it pop just a little bit more. So you could always do that kind of stuff. Just like with this window here, we're going to go ahead and take out those, and we're going to pop in some stairs. Of course, if I could put them in there right, that would be a lot more beneficial. And now that is a little bit more of a recessed window area. So when I go ahead and put my panes in here, it'll look just a little bit more cleaner. We'll do the same thing on these front two sets of windows that I made. They're just nice little small windows for the front to let some natural light in. We'll go ahead and we'll swap out these stair blocks as well. And we'll make all this look a whole lot better, hopefully. Let's see what we got. Yeah, awesome. See, instead of just a big flat wall here, now you can go ahead and throw in those stair blocks and give it that recessed look like I was talking about, and gives it just a little bit more character. Let's go ahead and throw our panes in here and see what that looks like. Oh yes, I am liking that a lot. I am definitely liking that look. Let's go ahead and throw a couple torches up here. Make it look a little bit more homey over here. Oh yes. And you can see that we're finally getting some shape to this thing, some design. Before it just kind of looked like a big square coffin, basically like the thing we have over here, except it had a front porch on it. And what I've done here on the quote-unquote front porch is I've just laid some trapdoors along here. Each variant of trapdoor, so oak, spruce, birch, etc., will all have a different style of door, and they will also have a different style of trapdoor. So the oak trapdoors have this little 2x2 grid looking area. They're see-through a little bit, so you can kind of see it there. It almost looks like lattice to me, so I think it looks really cool on like a front porch area right there, where we kind of almost look like we have like a little lattice pattern going up to our porch as well. So I've got a good portion of the roof on this side and this side done, and it's pretty easy to just go ahead and keep those going. Now, instead of going stone all the way across, I'm actually going to transition for wood in the center part of it. I like to kind of transition back and forth between wood and stone in different parts of the build, because I think it really gives us a nice contrast. And it almost looks like that the roof has like a stone border that's supporting it, and then the wood, of course, is in the center part doing the filler. So, like I said before, I think I want to go ahead and do a staircase up into my bedroom. So, in order to do that, I'm just going to do a nice staircase up into this corner right here. We're going to go one stair after another. Once we get to the corner, I'm going to do a half slab just to make it like kind of a little landing here. And then we're going to go ahead and keep heading up. And just like that, we are already up into the bedroom area. So nice and quick. We didn't have to make a huge staircase or anything. And we could utilize this little area for either maybe some shelving, and we'll throw something cute on that, or maybe a little storage closet underneath the shelf or underneath the stairs there. We just don't know yet. So I think for now, though, I don't want to put a full block for my floor up here. I actually just want to go with some half slabs, and I'm kind of almost reconsidering, since I've went with birch on the floor here, maybe to give it a little bit more contrast. I think I'm going to go ahead and swap these out for birch, and then we're going to make the second story floor over here. For my bedroom floor, we're going to make that out of birch. So let me take this down real quick, and we're going to swap this out just to give it a little bit more pop over here. Yes, I like that a little bit better. It definitely adds a little bit more color over here instead of just being the same drab color scheme headed all the way up to the top there. I like that a lot. So we're going to go ahead and keep with that. And I think I'm going to go ahead and start throwing in the floor to my bedroom area. I don't want it to be very large at all. As a matter of fact, I think I'm just going to have it basically a bed and just a small nightstand, something like that. It's just an area for us to lay our head at night. So in order to save some headroom on the first floor, I'm going to use half slabs so we don't have so much of a shortage on headroom down there. Because you'll notice if I did a full slab, it's pretty darn close to the top of your head there. So I think if we just do half slabs all the way across, that's going to be a much better solution. So let's do that there. I'm going to go ahead and box off the area in which I think I want this to be in. Let's see, how big should we do? You know, I think this will be just fine right here. I went ahead, filled it in just to our side support pillar there, and I think that'll be pretty good. I'm not sure, I might end up, should we connect it there? Kind of make it all the way across? That might actually end up being a better solution, to be honest with you. Let's see. Now that we're over here, we're messing with it. You know what, guys? I don't think that's bad at all, honestly. We still have sufficient area over here to do our... Let's see, I'm going to place these in here just as kind of like a template to see how much room we've got for our fireplace. I think this is good, guys. I think this is really good. Yeah, this will work just fine. So we'll be able to swap out these couple blocks here and this area here for a fireplace that heads up out of the kitchen. And then now we've got our upper area for our small bedroom. Yes. And as a matter of fact, we could possibly make this into a double fireplace because this leads up right into our bedroom as well. That's an idea that I haven't thought of quite yet. So I want this wall to be closed off for the roof here. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on with our roof design on this side just so I know exactly where I need to stop. So I think that's going to be our best course of action. If I go ahead and continue this section of roof off all the way, get it done, and then I can go ahead and figure out where our bedroom needs to stop and how high I can build the bedroom area, and then we can go ahead and start finishing off this area. So let me work on this real quick. So that's how the roof is going to look so far, and we can definitely continue to keep adding a little bit of character here and there. Now the inside area will obviously get filled out. I'm going to do all that with either some windows, or we might just fill it in with some wood there, but that gives us the outside design of how tall we need our roof to be. And we can go ahead and do the exact same thing on this row right here, because this is the other exterior wall for the bedroom. Nice. So we've got that all done now. So that is completed. And now we can go ahead and start filling in this middle area with wood stairs. So I think I'll probably need some more wood stairs, to be honest with you. Yeah. So let me use up what I got. I'm going to fill in as much as I can here. And as soon as I get all this filled in with some wood stairs, I'll be right back with you guys and we'll figure out our next plan of attack. I like it, guys. I think it looks really good. I think we've got a pretty good start on this thing here. So, like I said, I put the middle part as wood. The outside is going to be stone, just as a nice reinforced trim there. And now that we've got this section with the roof on there, we can go ahead and start building up the second story area for our room and adding a little bit of a chimney and some fun features over there. And then in order to wrap up everything, we'll have to put in just a couple decorations on the inside. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and mark out the location of the actual bedroom itself. And it's going to be right there. So this is exactly where we're going to put just a small bedroom up here. All we're going to have, like I said, is just a little area for us to lay our head. A little couple chests, something like that. It doesn't need to be anything too crazy. This is just meant to be our very first actual survival house. Now, we found a way that we can survive the first night. And for the first few nights, as a matter of fact, you really don't need much at all. But as you progress throughout the game, you're going to need a larger and larger house. And now that we've accumulated so many different materials, it's really nice to be able to put some of those to use. So I think at this point, I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to swap out this row of stairs actually for a different type of block, because I want this to kind of be like squared up, and then we'll go ahead and put an actual roof on this part as well. So let me take these out real quick, and we're going to redesign this just a smidge. So I've got 2 of the rows of blocks put up here, and the third row is going to be the actual wood of the stairs that are down there. So, but I was thinking about doing possibly about the same idea as I did previously, and that let's add a stone ring around this to make it look a little bit more reinforced, and then we'll do the inside section as wood. Alright, so I'm going to come back through here and I'm going to add in, just like I have on the bottom, that extra little awning, so it's kind of like this extra little slope going up, and just add in little extra fun variants like that, because the one thing I want to emphasize about this is not a guide tutorial on exactly how. You should not be following me exactly. I made it a little bit jumbled and kind of discombobulated a little bit in the footage, just for that fact is that you shouldn't be following step by step exactly what I'm doing, guys. You should make your own world, do whatever you feel looks good, feels good. I'm just trying to give you some ideas of what I like, you know, and I think that, in all honesty, y'all can come back through here and make something absolutely awesome. It doesn't have to be exactly like this. It can be totally different. It can be a big square. It can be a big rectangle. It can be a star shaped. It doesn't matter. I'm just kind of go with something that I like, which is slightly medieval themed. I'm a big fan of medieval stuff. So the stone and wood and kind of rustic look to me really appeal to my senses. But if you want something more modern, we can definitely get into that in later episodes. There's some materials in the game that lend themselves to being a much more clean modern aesthetic rather than a more medieval style. So we'll venture into some of that later in some episodes as well. But for now, I am having a blast getting this thing done. Are you kidding me? This is looking awesome, I think. So now we've got both of our arches put in for our roof here. We've got our design on the outside looking pretty good. Now, I kind of need to go ahead and add that extra row of half slabs right here like I have on this one. I was looking at it and I was thinking, man, what design do I like better? But I think I like this. It's more of a flat landing kind of plateau there. Kind of smooths it out in a gradual awning on the side. So I enjoy that look a lot. So I think I'm going to go down here. I think we might need just a few more oak stairs. So I'm going to make some more oak stairs. And we'll get some half slabs. I'm going to put all the half slabs in, fill in the wood. And then we're going to find some kind of resolution for the end caps right here. I don't know the exact terminology, if these are dormers, I guess, or just the archways, whatever these are. We're going to fill these in with either some glass or some wood. We're going to figure out what aesthetic looks best for us. So let's go get some materials ready. So I'm going to actually make a correction while I'm up here. So whenever I put these half slabs in, I was just thinking, okay, let's put the half slabs in. Let's just fill out the roof. However, I forgot to mention the fact that this area will need to be lit up. So we're going to have to torch it. But if we do something a little different, if we put our half slabs on the top portion right here, instead of inside of that block there. Because what's going on is that we're putting that half slab to the top portion of that block, meaning that it's a flat level surface. So a mob, if it's dark enough at nighttime, could spawn here theoretically. But if we put it here, since it's on the bottom of this block here, imagine if this is a full block. Let me put one here for reference for you. So if we had a full block here, you'll notice that this is on the bottom side of this block, meaning that this section here is blank. A mob, nothing can spawn on a block that is only take up half of the space. So since this is taking up half of the space of this block here, nothing can spawn here, no matter the light level. So if we just put our half slabs on the top as such, we will not have to worry about lighting this up at all. This will prevent any mobs from spawning, and I honestly think it looks a little bit more pleasing to the eye. So, win-win situation, guys. Let's go back down here. We're going to grab up these half slabs, and then I'm going to do the exact same thing to the section of roof that we were just working on. So I'm going to go ahead and place my windows in on this side exactly where I want them, because this side's a little bit funky of where all the placement's going to be. So I think I'm going to go ahead and I need to continue this up around here as well. I haven't done too much work on this side. This is kind of the, oh my god. Okay, well, that's something fun that we can jump into real quick. So these guys are pillagers. So pillagers will randomly show up to your base at any given time. They just like to send out these little pillager scout expeditions. And there is always a bannerman. Well, not always, but most of the time there's a bannerman. So that's the guy right down there. I know that looks like another guy's real blocky face, but that is another leader who is holding a banner. Once you kill him, you're going to get the effect of Bad Omen. Bad Omen will trigger a raid if you are nearby a village or if you happen to have any villagers inside of your area that you've moved over for whatever reason. So, raids are multiple level waves of enemies such as pillagers and other various baddies that will attack the villagers and try to kill them. As soon as all the villagers are killed, then the raid has been lost. So I think we can just go over here, kill these guys real quick. We have no villagers in our area, so we're going to take these guys out. Yeah! Alright. And they're usually pretty stupid. If you line them up to where they're in a line, they'll actually just start shooting each other. There you go. So it'll do some of the work for you, so it's not so difficult to do a 5v1 or something like that, but they do kind of pack a little bit of a punch there. Make sure you're a little prepared. It's not that bad, but like I said, they are definitely not the smartest, the mobs in Minecraft. So we've got two left here. Let's see. All right. One guy left. We'll take out the leader. And there it is. All right, so we get our advancement of the voluntary exile, which is going ahead and killing a bannerman. But like I said, we do get that Bad Omen effect, which is looks like the evil skull and crossbones over there on my right-hand side of the screen. But we don't need to worry about that. We have no villagers around here, and there is a very easy solution. So I've noticed there's been a couple cows. There's one there roaming around the vicinity. So we're going to go over here and take our bucket. I'm just going to dump out this water into this pond temporarily. Walk over to our friendly bovine friend. Give her a right click. And she's going to give us a bucket of milk. Now if I drink that milk, milk will clear all effects on your character, whether that be good or bad. So be careful. If you happen to have some beneficial effects that are lingering on top of you and you drink milk, it will clear those as well. But in this instance, we didn't have any beneficial effects. All we did is have Bad Omen, and I wanted to get rid of that. So now with that gone, we can go ahead and get back to our mission here and clean up this side because, ugh, what was I doing? It's like I gave up halfway. All right, well, I've started to complete the roof pattern here and everything and get that all in, but I was messing around with the window design, and I was trying to go for kind of the triangular one that we had on the opposite end down there, but I figured since we have a small rectangular one here, it would kind of be suited to kind of do a matching one up top, and I kind of like the design, honestly. I think it turned out pretty good. So I'm just going to wrap up a couple more things here real fast. I'm going to fill in this with solid blocks, whether that be stone or wood. I'm not really sure yet. I'm going to throw both in there and see which one I like a little bit better. And then I still need to lay down that row of half slabs, stone half slabs on either side of the roof there to smooth that off. put in a couple more stairs around some windows to get those recessed. And once I get all of that done, then I'm going to go ahead and meet you guys over at the chimney area, and we're going to figure out some kind of design for that thing. All right, I think we're in a really good position to move on to the chimney area. You'll see that I've got everything buttoned up. Everything is looking pretty darn good in my opinion. That is all sealed up. I went with wood on this side to seal it in and finished out the shape of the roof. All the half slabs have been laid. I actually added a third larger center window on this side because I thought it was a little bit blank of a canvas for that large of a wall. And I think it ended up turning out pretty darn good. So I like that addition. On this side over here, I went ahead and buttoned all this up as well. Left a stair in there to kind of give it a little bit of indentation, a little bit of character there. Got all the windows placed, and we are ready to move on to this chimney, guys. Let's get up top and let's figure out what we're going to do. Alright, so first and foremost, I know I want these to be a window area, so we'll just fill these in to give us a marker on where we want. Now, the only thing that could be subject to change is possibly this one here, but I've thought about that. I might just end up pushing this wall here one block out, and that way we can still get our triple pane window, because I think the triple is going to look a lot better. We have a much better point of view out here, and I think it honestly just makes sense to go ahead and move this wall out one slot. That way we can get a nice view on all of our lands that we're going to be developing over there. Okay, basically right back where we were, but just a little bit more expanded. So I went ahead, bumped it out one slot over here, replaced the wall, filled everything back in, and I took out one row of our birch half slabs down here because you don't want the fire that's going to be right here interfering with the wood here and catching that on fire. So I want to make sure there's a little bit of a barrier. And we might go with a couple different designs of a quote-unquote fireplace here. All of them are going to be aesthetic. None of them will be functional. The actual Minecraft fireplace is inside of the little the coffin over there, and that is the furnace, and then some other variants of the furnace as well that we haven't quite explored yet, but we'll get into that in a future episode. But for right now, I think my game plan is that I'm going to go ahead and slope this up just slightly. So we're going to slope it up to meet to the roof right here. And then we're going to go ahead and have a small stack come out and have some smoke effects coming out of that, making it look like that smoke is being exhausted somewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and get working on that right now. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put some blocks here. And what that's going to do is that's going to section off the area where the fireplace will go, where the smoke will be billowing up, and then we can go ahead and start slanting up from here to meet up to the roof line. In order to get the look that I'm going for, that I'm trying to achieve here, I'm going to start with the base as nothing but stair blocks. You'll notice that as you try to place stair blocks, depending on which way you're facing, the orientation is always going to be a little bit weird. So let's say, for instance, this corner block and this block here. If this block were to be facing that way, you'll see that I placed it in this direction. It's going to go ahead and cap this off. And then if I place a block here, it's going to cap off that side. However, depending on the way that you're facing, if we place a block here and then we place this one here, it's going to continue that edging all the way to this and then cap it off. So you really kind of got to play around with the corners here, depending on what kind of look you're going for, and you can kind of make the snake and work in the way that you need it to get it with that look that you're going for. So I'm going to place probably just a few more of these, and then I think I'm going to finish up with some half slabs just to kind of give it a top here. So let's see what I come up with now. Now, if you have two different types of stone slabs, which I have here, I was trying to place a stone slab on top of this half slab that's a cobblestone slab. You cannot place two different types of slab on top of each other, unfortunately. So if I have a half slab here that's cobblestone, that one has got to be half slab of cobblestone right there as well to do the filler. And I think I'm just about done here, guys. I really think this is coming together. Let's get down to the bottom real quick and take a look at it from below and see what we think. Well, it's not terrible. But I think that we can do a little bit better. And in order to do a little bit better, I don't mind the spot that meets up at the roof line. I think I'm going to do a little bit more filler here and maybe take out some of those stair blocks that are on the roof line right there. Take those out to kind of mesh with this a little bit better. We're going to swap out a little bit more cobblestone with some stone because I think it's getting a little bit drowned out there. And then additionally, I think right about here above the fireplace is where I want to make a stack. And instead of that just kind of being flat right there, that's going to give it a little bit more character, something to build up off. And then we'll have our stack kind of coming up right here. Now that we're getting close to finishing up the chimney area, I actually want to introduce you to a new item called the campfire. So campfires are absolutely fantastic. They serve a multitude of purposes. So let me build one of them, and then we're going to run over here to the chicken coop area, lay it down. I'm going to show you one of the uses of this thing before we use it as a aesthetic purpose over here for our chimney. Oh yeah, we've got a lot of chickens. So let me grab just a couple pieces of raw chicken here. We'll pick these up. Get out of here real quick. Oh my lord, the chicken army is growing. So we'll go ahead and we'll throw this thing down. Now you'll see that it lets off a really cool smoke animation, and that is exactly what we're going to be going for our chimney over here. But it actually holds a different purpose. If you take some raw food, right click on it, it will actually start to go ahead and cook that food. Now it doesn't have a timer similar to a furnace or anything like that, but whenever the food is done, it will just pop right on off of that campfire. There we go. It's starting to pop off the food. We'll go ahead and pick all that stuff up. We'll throw that last chicken breast on there. And that is how you can actually utilize a campfire. Now, a cool thing about a campfire, like I said, it does have those smoke particle effects. So with that in mind, if you take a hay bale and place it underneath, you'll see that the smoke effects only go so high. You can kind of mark it with the height of this tree there. You'll see that it only surpasses the tree just by a little bit before it starts to dissipate. However, if we place a hay bale underneath there, so you see the smoke now rises much, much higher than it did before it starts to dissipate and fade out. So that's a really cool feature of the campfire, where if you want to use it for an effect where you can see some smoke coming up in the horizon, similar to a chimney like we're doing now, that's a great way to utilize it. So if you want to pick up a campfire, you're going to need a Silk Touch enchantment on your on one of your items, whether that be a pick or an axe or whatever. So I don't have one, but if you'd like to, you can actually put out a campfire by right-clicking on it with a shovel, and that will just dissipate it. Now, that's another cool feature you can do, and this is actually really good for rope bridges or awnings or porches or old train tracks. Whatever your imagination can come up with, that's a really cool aesthetic. But whenever we break this thing, you'll see it just turns back into a couple pieces of charcoal. That's okay, though. We're going to go over here. We're going to make another campfire. We're going to sleep, and then we're going to put that up there, and I'll show you exactly how this is going to look. Now, I went ahead and placed the campfire directly on top of our little spout there, our smoke spout. So I'm going to go ahead and throw some trapdoors on the outside of this. I placed two on top of there. Just in order to cover this up a little bit, to give it a little bit more clean look. Now, unfortunately, this is not the best look for this thing. You'll see that the oak trapdoors that we're using have those little holes in there, and you can kind of still see the campfire through there. That's a little unfortunate. However, that just means that we need to go out and set out for a new wood type pretty soon. And with spruce trapdoors are actually a solid visual, and they look much, much cleaner for this. But for now, this works in a pinch. So I'm going to go ahead, jump down here, and we're going to see what that looks like. Yeah, awesome. I think that looks pretty dang good for right now. We'll definitely come back as soon as we find some spruce trees. We'll swap that out, and it'll give it a little bit more darkened look. And like I said, it's a solid block. Oh, Lord, these guys again. Y'all just will not learn, will you? So I think that's just about it for the day, though. I don't think there's much more that we can do on this thing besides throwing up just a couple decorations. And I really want to devote an episode to interior design. So we're not going to fully design the interior of this. However, I think that we can go ahead and throw a couple bushes outside and spruce up the outside just a little bit. And then I want to talk to you guys about the fireplace. Yeah, from that to that. I think we did absolutely fantastic, guys. I really, really like it. I placed in a bunch of bushes. This is another way I can always kind of alleviate sections of like flat, dead wall that I don't really know what I can do with it. Instead of just sitting there beating my head against the wall, add some foliage. Add some bushes, add some overgrowth, because in all honesty, that's probably what you're missing in the first place, is that natural little accent that you're looking for. You know, sometimes you just need to add in some bushes and add in some flowers and add in some stuff that you don't really think about. Because seriously, guys, like what house doesn't have some overgrown shrubs or, you know, some bushes and weeds and stuff like that? And that's just a great way to add a little bit of character to your house. So I think we did absolutely perfect. So the last thing I want to do before we wrap up this episode is the fireplace. But we're not actually going to do the fireplace this episode, guys, unfortunately, because we are lacking resources. We need some more resources in order to make this thing work as well as I want it to. Now, the thing is that we could make it out of the campfires like we did with the chimney up top. Cool, we win. But I think I have a little bit better idea. I want to go to the Nether and get some netherrack. Now, the Nether is one of the most, if not the most dangerous plane or area, realm, whatever you want to call it, in this game. The Nether is the equivalent to hell. It is filled with baddies, lava, fire, all kinds of terrible, terrible things. However, if we wish to progress through the game, we have to go there. So, in the next episode, that is exactly what we will be doing. We'll be venturing into the Nether in order to get some netherrack, because netherrack will burn infinitely once set on fire. So, we could replace these grass blocks with some netherrack, set it on fire, and this would have a nice big roaring fire here for us to come over and look at, which I think is going to be an awesome, awesome way to finish out that little kitchen area. So, next episode, we dive into the Nether. Now, the sun is setting, and I think I will join you guys on the very first time. You'll notice that I went ahead and did a little tiny bit of decorating up here. I filled this in a little bit, just got it kind of cinched up a little bit so we can kind of look over into the living room area. It's safe. Put up some fencing here so we don't fall over in our sleep and roll down the stairs. But we've got a great little view of the sunset here, and we can go ahead and spend our first night in our actual bedroom of our first real house. Thank you guys so, so much for joining me today. I really, really appreciate it. If you'd like what you've seen, please drop me a like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. Until the next one, bye for now.